let's lit this town like a fire in a blaze. Gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Tonight we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain.
Hey guys, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome Nancy in. How's everybody doing today? Better than yesterday, maybe? Maybe feeling a little better than yesterday? Kind of has the shock worn off on anybody? Because I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock. But welcome in, everybody. It's good to see everyone in here. If you guys don't mind, before I forget, I will forget to ask you, hit the like button for your girl. It takes 2 seconds to do it. Actually, it takes like 1 second, and it's really quick, and it does help the channel. But after you do that, if you don't mind doing that for me, that'd be great. But my name is Tanya or Titanium Built. You can call me either or. Got my name up on the screen there for you in case you need to see it. I always realize that I don't put Titanium Built on there anymore. So, but welcome in, everybody. I do have some stuff to show you guys. I actually had a whole other live plans. I do this a lot. And then I saw that Nancy Grace came out with a video, and I was like, oh, she's probably on fire. And I'm kind of dying to listen to it. So let's see who we got in the chat, and then we'll go from there. We'll just kind of go through. Hey, Ladybug. I saw Baby Girl was in here too. Dawn's in here. Welcome on in. Princess, I don't know if she came back. She said she was going to be back. Hey, Just Breathe. Hey, Willows. Welcome in, Teresa. Good to see ya. Mr. Rosebud. Oh, I thought personally with Koberger, he seems like the type that would want to be by himself. I'm not saying that to be mean or anything. I don't see him as a general population kind of guy. I really don't. Maybe he'll blend in well with everybody else in there. They're all, criminals, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to favor for him. I think that he probably is going to regret this decision, but it's already done. Now they did say, now I've been reading up on this, and it says that if the judge rejects the plea deal, if he's like, no, we're going to trial, then he can take his guilty plea back. But it's like, well, the whole country is going to know about it. Like, we already do. Like, we cat's out of the bag. Sorry, we know about it. So, I don't think that would be a very good idea to take it back. Hey, Tom. Hey, Willows. I'll get towards the bottom, but welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I know there's some names at the bottom I didn't see. Hey, Joyce. Hey, Pete. Hey, Jenna. Hey, Petunia. Hey, Mandy. Hey, Simple Southern Mama. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Cuffy. This is gonna be messed up. I cannot imagine how the parents feel. Oh, yeah. Speaking of parents, Brian's parents are going to be in court tomorrow. What do you guys think about that? Ooh. I mean, they have every right to be there because, like, I mean, you know, it's their son, which they technically don't have every right. They don't have rights, but they're going to be there nonetheless. I think it's all going to be okay. But in my mind, I'm having an anxiety attack for these families. Like, just being in the same room, it's going to be really heavy. It's going to be, I don't even know. You have family members on, you know, the victim's side that, you know, they want to go on with trial. They want to hear the evidence. They want to know what happens to their loved ones. They want to go through the whole system. They want him, you know, to be convicted if he is guilty and be sent to death row. And like we've seen this on the channel. We put it up the other night. There's like 10 people or 9 people on there, and they've all been on there for like since the 80s. It's not like he would be in front of a firing squad tomorrow, you know, next Tuesday or even a year from now. I think he would have liked it better just being on death row. You're locked up 23 hours a day. I don't know. Maybe they don't get iPads and stuff over there. I don't know how that works. Do you get an iPad if you're on the death penalty wing? I wonder if you get phone privileges like you would if you were in general population. I'm just wondering, like, what is it for him that is wanting him to get off of the, you know, out of the death penalty and just have life in prison? Hey, is she almost home from work? You're probably working hard. Hey, Kathy. Nightbot and life sentencing. Don't do that. That Nightbot helps me out sometimes. Hey, Ryan, welcome in. I just pushed that and then took it right off. Hey, DM. I know. I know that's as she said, she was like, what are we going to do now in August? I meant to try to think of something, but we do have other trials that are coming. So we have, I think everyone's in shock. Yeah. I think I've just been kind of like, I haven't really listened to a lot of stuff today about it, which is crazy. I mean, I've read more than I've listened to, you know, I'm just kind of like, just been in solace, but it feels like I said last night, it feels like I hit a brick wall. Like because I'm used to, as a creator, like getting, like wondering what's next. Like, when are we going to hear what's next? Like, this is such a big thing. It just kind of like stopped me in my tracks, but that'll happen, you know? Hey, good evening. Good evening, everyone. So I was trying to read your name. You don't know me, do you? I don't. What emoji was it? I didn't see it, Tom. Yeah, me too, Jet Set. So I'm hoping that they've written something in here. We'll go over some stuff that I did pull up because it's pretty important, I think. And I'll go over the plea bargaining and stuff like that before we watch Nancy. But her being an ex-prosecutor, I thought she might have some good insight, and she has some people she has a whole list of people on her panel today. She's like bringing in the troops. She did double duty. She did Diddy, and now she's doing Koberger. So I was excited to see that. Hey, Lenore, you changed your picture. Oh, I love that picture. I can see you in this one. I don't know, your other one, I couldn't see you as well. I love this picture. That's a good picture of you. Hey, Kristen, sorry, Christine. I got the Gonzalez's on my brain. Sorry, Kristen. That I hope Bethany and Dylan are there tomorrow too. It literally doesn't give you much time, right? It doesn't give you any time to prepare. Like, these families just found out yesterday, and they live in the same state, but that's still like a 6-hour drive. People have jobs. I mean, how do you explain that one to your boss? I mean, they can't fire you for that. Like, I mean, but that's just sad. That's just sad. Would you stop licking yourself, weirdo? My dog's back here licking herself. I know. You were my star pupil. She was learning everything about the case. I was telling Vincent the other night, I was like, she knew stuff I forgot I even said. You really did. You went through a bunch of my videos. Hey, Tempest. Hey, Dana, babe. Welcome in. I'll get down to the bottom eventually. Hey, Aries. Yeah. I wanted this to go to trial, even though I knew it was going to be crazy, chaotic, all the things. I wanted it for the families and for all of us. I mean, a lot of us have been in this chat for a couple years. I mean, Ashley called me right away. I was like, I got to take this. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that has to be Ashley's number. I don't ever say people's numbers. I'm just bad about that. I'll know it. You were cramming it in. You were going to be ready for trial. Hey, Cindy. So what I'm hoping is that somehow, and I don't think the judge is going to reject it, but that's the only thing I can think of. That's their last saving grace, Now, Ann Taylor, her job, I mean, I guess was to get him off the death penalty. And that was probably number one, and then number two would probably be get him out of there, out of jail, period. So she did half of it. She did half. I mean, of course, yeah, you can come up whenever you want to. Yeah. And then don't forget to hit the like button, guys. So I'll just talk to you a little bit about the plea bargaining while she's going to come up. But so I have some notes. So Brian Koberger asked, I guess his defense team went to the prosecution and asked for this deal to be had. That works in his favor. I mean, our favor, in the prosecution's favor, because they could say, hey, we want to know the why. We want to know how. We want to know all of it. You need to give us every detail. They could even offer him a proffer where he spills it. As long as he doesn't lie, it'll stay it'll stay good. All right, there's Ishi. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I'm going to turn my camera off while you're up here. I don't know. I always feel weird whenever I have my camera on.
Why?
And whenever someone else doesn't, because I never know where to look.
Well, no one wants to see me after I've been working all day, but you're always cute. So keep your camera on.
Oh, okay. You
Everybody's
look
used
good
to
in your
seeing you that
photo.
way.
How are you feeling about all this?
Well, I was just going to say, sometimes I feel like that things happen for a reason when you look at something and you're like, no, this is so wrong.
Yeah.
Then today I was thinking, well, maybe it's a protective thing with those parents, because can they really hear what happened to those kids?
Yeah. Well, they did say they were going to stay out of the trial some days.
Right.
I know that Steve said, he was I know some days I won't be able to be there. He said people will go in their place. They had a system kind of set up. For those days, when he said, when they talk about, what happened to our kids and stuff, he's we'll step out those days. And I respect that. And, because I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
I don't think I could. I don't know if I could do that. I think I'd be there and I'd want to hear. You know what I mean? I keep wanting to hear.
Yeah,
but
I think I would want to hear.
At the same time, I just feel like the way they did the family, the way they went about it was just wrong.
Everything that with this case has been like that. Even today, I was listening to, and I did another video. It's actually with the Chapin family. They did an interview, and I didn't know, but Hunter, the boy, the kid that found them, that went up and, he found them, he had to tell, well, he didn't have to, but he did. He told Ethan's brother, Hunter. So there's two Hunters. But he told his brother, he said, they're not here anymore. I saw it in the interview and I'm like, what am I hearing? And I was like, oh, this poor guy. I'm looking at this Hunter kid, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Not only did you have to tell, you had to go up there and see it. And then you had to go tell your best buddy that his brother was dead, and he was I guess he said something they're not coming back. And he was not comprehending what he meant. And he's like, the police are there, they're gone, or something like they're gone, or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. Like that kid is probably needs therapy for a very long time.
Yeah.
And
Like that.
they should let them have this. This is like, I didn't think there was, I didn't, so I was like on the fence with the plea deal. I was like, if they offer him one, I thought if the prosecution offers one, he'll take it. But I didn't really see him coming in at like right at the 11th hour, pretty much being like, oh, I want a plea deal. Like he has to be giving them something. And then in order for them to be like, okay, yeah, sure.
I
Like, you know
think
what I mean?
they
Like
have no more options. I think they know he's guilty, and I think they know, like Ann Taylor, I think she's known that, but like she doesn't know what else to do.
Mhm.
It's still wrong though. She's known this.
I think after the continuance was denied like last week, and then the alternate perpetrator theory was denied. I
Right.
think after that, she was just like, okay, we have nothing else.
Yeah.
And then maybe he made a phone call to his mom and dad. And
Ugh.
was maybe, you know, I mean, because I know his mom had wrote before on Reddit that she was against the death penalty, talking about um, Ted Bundy,
I
I
know.
believe. So it was like, you know, maybe he talked to her and she was like, take a deal. I don't,
Maybe.
you know, like just do
Maybe.
it for your mom. Like I couldn't
Maybe
imagine because
if they.
he did talk good about his parents. Like whenever he was in that Tap It Talk account, even though he said he was like a void of emotion, he did say good things about them. So
Maybe if like the families could all have their speech that they would just like to. I just feel like they all need to have their last say, and
yeah.
and then maybe it'll. I
Well, they'll
don't.
get the victim's impact. They'll have
Yeah.
that like opportunity. And they don't really usually cut people off. Like you can usually talk for you know a while before like I've never seen a judge say, okay, like you got another minute. Like so I think they'll have the opportunity to get some stuff out then, but I still don't think it's going to be the same. I think that they should have taken all those parents collectively. I think they
Mhm.
should because they're not the Idaho 4, but they are the Idaho 4 in a way, you know, like when it comes to
Right.
this part of it. And it's like they should have taken them all in there and told them, this is what we have as evidence. This is what he like is going to plead to. You know, maybe they didn't have a lot. Maybe the state didn't have a lot more than what we saw, right? Maybe we don't know. Like maybe that was the lot. That was all of it or something in the PCA. I don't think it was, but you know, and maybe that's why they wanted to give him a deal so that it was a surefire thing. But I just still don't see why they gave him or wanting to give him a deal. If they
I don't
have his
know.
DNA and like the car, the pings, the surveillance cameras, like
And wasn't it like
he's
how
not
many
smart.
terabytes of information?
It was like up to 60 something when she said it the last
64
time.
or something
It
like
was
that.
like
Yeah.
50, it was like 51. I think it went to like 64 or something like that. Yeah. Like this the
Yeah.
last hearing she said she had gotten even more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you haven't looked through any of that?
I
I was
know.
like, give it to us.
She gets on my nerves.
And I was like, we would have done it. We would have looked through all that for you for free. I said, I'd have been your intern.
Yeah, you
And
would have.
I wouldn't have been biased. I could do it. I wonder what William's thinking right now out there. Brian
Mm,
Koberger's buddy.
mm. I I don't know. I appreciate all that you've put into it though, like researching it.
Oh,
And I was
thanks.
cramming. I
You
was
were.
cramming. I was
I
trying to
know. I was like,
backtrack
we are
and
all going to
listen.
be ready. That's what I was telling Vince. I was like, I had things planned out in my head, like ahead of time, you know, like
Uh-huh.
I was going to start a new podcast and I was like, this is going to be great. And it has that Keynote Wentworth in it. She's the one that's been on like ABC doing a lot of the Kohlberger coverage the last couple of days. And I was like, that'll get us ready for trial because it's like even better than the last like podcast. It's just more like it was like more in depth and they knew more like because I think they're like affiliated with Dateline or one of those like 2020 or whatever. And
Oh,
so they have like better investigators. And so I was like, oh, we'll play that. And then that'll get us into like, you know, this month. And then the book's coming out. I'm still going to read that book to you guys about James Patterson. And then I still want to like play the docu-series and do all that stuff. Like it's not going to like, you know, Koberger ain't going to just like go away. There's going to be documents. There's going to be evidence. Hopefully there'll be evidence that comes out that we get to see, even if it's in document form.
yeah.
I mean, I'll take it. I'll read
I
it.
just
You know me, I'll read some documents.
I just hate thinking of him though being in prison.
Mhm.
He's going to have an iPad. He's going to be like
Yep.
that Wilson guy. He's going to
Yep.
have weird women. I mean,
Yep.
he still is going to have a life of some sort, and he probably will relish in it because he's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
weird man, and
Yeah.
I hate that for him. I don't like it that we, as taxpayers, I don't live in Idaho, but I'm just saying, like, we pay for that stuff. And I'm sorry, when you go to
Mm-hmm.
prison, you go to prison. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be a cakewalk. I
No.
mean, you
No, it
should
shouldn't. And it's like
suffer.
I mean, that I forget how many millions it was up to with
Mm.
the investigation and everything. I mean, the FBI, the marshals, state line. I mean, they went across state lines. They flew evidence back just to test it in Idaho, in an Idaho lab, not even in Pennsylvania, like where they, got it. So like just, I mean, and then flying him over all of the $200 an hour for Ann, 180 an hour for Jay.
Mhm.
Man, and what did Jay do for this case? Not much of anything.
Not much,
But
but Anne was making bank.
she was making so much. I wonder if like she went to Brian and was like, we should go to them and ask for a deal, or if he brought it up. Like, I want to know I want to know all the details. I want to know everything. But I hope they give us something tomorrow.
I hope so too. And I didn't want to come up here and interrupt anything. I
Oh no, you're
wanted to
fine.
watch Nancy. I want to
Oh
see what
yeah.
Nancy has to say.
Oh yeah, I got her behind me. She's gonna be riled up.
I'm sure she will be. I haven't seen her.
It's Southern
I-
there, squeaky wheel. He was asking
yeah.
who was talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's me.
Oh, it's because I
Um,
have a comment. There we go. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I do want to watch her. I haven't seen anything with her. I saw Ashley Banfield. I mean, she was mad. She was.
Oh, well, Ashley was like, when this case first happened, that's what kind of like made her, like, that's what kind of made News Nation.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
they were doing okay. Like, I never heard really of I never heard of News Nation before Idaho. I never knew who little Brian Enton was. Cute as
Yeah.
could be, but I just remember him in his little Patagonia coat, standing outside like freezing. And I just fell in love with him. I'm like, who is this guy? He's so small looking, and he just looks so fragile out there. Like, because they end up getting like 15 inches of snow or something dumped.
Yeah,
And
because TikTok Tony flew out there, remember?
Yep.
Took a picture with him, and I was like, ugh.
Oh, I told Vincent today, I was like, if I had the money, I was like, I would have flown out tonight and got there tomorrow. I was like, what would I have to do? We're eating dinner. It's like 8:00. I'm like, what would I have to do? I'm like, in order to do this,
How do
I
I
wish
make
he was a
this
little
happen?
closer. Huh?
I know. I was saying, you were thinking, like, how do I make this happen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I would like to be there. I would like to see what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, is Anne going to go in there look defeated? Is she going to
No.
come in smiling?
I
Like, I can
mean,
go on my vacation now.
do you think she even cares?
I
mean,
I thought she did,
I just think it's
but
her
now I
job.
don't know. I
I
think it
think
is
it's her
too.
job. I think it's her
that
job.
is. Yeah, I think we should have watched some videos of her like prior. I don't know if there was anything prior, like how like Nancy Grace will have like her prior court things like on YouTube. You can watch her from like 20 years ago. And it's crazy because she looks the same, but just her hair different. Her hair's a little different.
I know.
It's like you look and you sound the same. She sounds the same too. She's still just as sassy. Her kids are gorgeous.
I know.
I saw a picture of them the other day. I was like, goodness, your daughter grew up and she's a beautiful little girl. Like she's like 18 now, I think, or something, or 16, 17. I don't know.
And I still think of them as like little kids. I do.
Me too. Is Ashley in
Well,
the chat? I think she's in the chat. Ashley's been with me for like since the beginning of this case. I think we both feel like we've hit a brick wall.
I know. And I hate that. It's like I was cramming for it. And I mean, I'd heard about it, but it after studying so much about it and learning about it and then listening to Steve and like his whole family, I don't know why people hate him so much, but I'm like, okay. I mean,
know it's
everybody doesn't have to talk. I mean, he can talk.
right.
I mean, if he wants
Yeah,
to.
he like I was like, my dad would either be exactly like Steve and be like out there front and center, pushing the envelope a little bit, maybe even a little bit more than Steve.
Yep.
Or my dad would be like a crumbled mess on the floor. It just depend if my mom was here or not. You know what I mean? Like if she was here, he'd be a mess because he would know, he has someone that can help pick him up. You know what I mean? Like have that like person. But I couldn't imagine.
I've heard though that like, some of the families, like they don't, but sometimes if you have somebody like Steve out there talking, then he's representing everyone. And I think some things have been taken kind of in a twisted way of him just trying to get into too much information and whatever. But I mean,
Yeah.
if that was my kid, I'd do it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's my right. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And he's
know?
not doing it like I felt like he wasn't doing it to harm anybody or,
Oh,
like nothing like that. He just really wanted to keep her name out there, her story out there.
yep.
And I think that if it wasn't for Steve, I don't think a lot of people would have kept on to this case as much as they did. I think that we would have people on it, but not like it was, like it has been, because I think that he kind of not like created doubt or anything, but like created questions. You know what I mean? Like he would come out and be like, why did they have to go to the third floor? And everybody took that differently. But the way he meant it was like, well, if if the target wasn't on the third floor, he wouldn't have had to gone up there at
Hmm.
all. Like, you know what I mean? Like he would have stayed on the first and second floor, or that's how I took it anyway. But other people took it like differently. And, and it was just like, I don't know. But it would give us a conversation about it. Like we would be conversating. So he was keeping it out there, and it wasn't in like a at night Sebastian Rogers kind of way. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Where everything went
right.
to hell in a handbasket. I mean, it did some
Well,
creators, but for the most part, I think that everyone can at least like talk to each other and not like we could be in
yeah,
a room. We can all be in a room together. Everybody that's like, been on this case, like and stuff. And I
I
even
agree
cried
with you.
yesterday because I read Aubrey's Kaylee's sister's letter that she put on Facebook.
Yes.
And I was like, man, I should read something first before I read it out loud. Cause as soon as she put, they're not just the Idaho 4,
Or yeah.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, here
That's
we
a
go.
strong family. Like those,
Yeah.
they're a strong, tight knit family. And honestly, the stuff that they were finding out, I mean,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna say, I mean, I
Yeah.
think they kept a lead on things and they weren't
Hmm.
gonna like just let it go. And anytime that
Yeah.
he does talk, it does put all of them. He wasn't just talking about his daughter; he was talking about all of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
I don't
believe
know.
that too. And I think and he always says like in a respectful way, too, like even in the interview today, he's like, I don't want to say anything about the other families. Like I want them to be able to do their own talking and stuff, for their kids. And
Right?
I respect that. And like Maddie's dad came out and did an interview.
I
Like
know
he just
he's
looks so
he
broken.
does. He just that man
He's
just. Mm,
that was his world. I mean, like all these men are brokenhearted, but like just something about Ben Mogan makes you just want to cry just looking at him.
I think
Like
it's
he's
just
been
from
through
what he
so much.
struggles through. What he's been through in his past, and like just I don't know.
Mhm.
You got this other family, they're all put together, they're knit together, and they're strong and powerful. And then, I
Yeah.
mean, but Ethan's family is too. It's just they're more quiet, and there's nothing wrong
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, I think that they're doing their thing, with the docu-series and getting his story out that way. And I think that's like their therapy because she said in the interview, she's like, I have to at least tell his story once. She's like, he deserves that. And I was like, oh, like I
did
know she
Ethan?
doesn't want to. I know I don't like this isn't even nothing compared, but like my car accident, I don't really like to talk about it fully, like in the whole detail. That's why I've never did the whole like live yet because it's
Yep.
exhausting. Like
Well,
it just takes like stuff out of you, you know what I mean? And it
yeah.
just so I don't know. I feel like I can relate in a way of not wanting to talk about it. Like I can see her not wanting to, just kind of like putting that little, you know, putting her boy in like a little protective bubble and just for her,
Did
you
she
know.
write a children's book?
She did. Mhm. Yeah.
I
And
did
she got
not
a
know that.
tattoo on her arm. They all got
Oh,
tattoos and they're
okay.
all different. And like hers is like Ethan's handwriting. I think it says like I love you, mom, or something. It was like for Mother's Day.
Oh,
So she got that. And that's actually what I wanted to get for my dad because I have letters from my dad that say like stuff like I love you.
yeah.
And he used to write us notes in the morning, me and my mom. Who
Oh,
would have known how like those would be so sacred
yeah.
now?
You're
Like
right.
I'm like his just seeing his handwriting.
Yep. Yep.
Just like things like that. Did you know that the coroner actually told Aubrey about Kaylee's wounds? She thought
Mm.
she was, I guess, talking to Christy, and
Oh.
she was like, "Can I tell you or something?" And I guess Aubrey was like 17 at the time,
Oh
and she was like,
God.
"Yeah, you can tell me." Like she didn't realize what she was asking or letting her say. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
welcome in
Mm.
everybody. But yeah, I mean that's a terrible way to find out. And then Hunter telling
Oh
Ethan's
yeah.
brother and
And
So
on that Good Morning America video, I mean, he'll never be the same.
yeah, no, he
I
won't.
mean, none of them will be. I mean,
Mm-mm.
and it's hard. Sometimes it's worth surviving something, you know?
And even Brian's family, like, I mean, wonder what his family's thinking right now. I wonder if they thought this whole time, like they were riding for his innocence. I wonder, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if he was telling them in phone conversations, like, I didn't do this, mom and dad. I didn't do this. Believe me. Like, cause you want to believe your kid, right? Like, I don't know how good he is at lying, but usually my parents would know if I wasn't lying, but you know what I mean? But I think that he could have been pulling the world over their eyes for a little bit. Like, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. And then maybe just recently told them, like
What
maybe
are his
after
sisters
the,
going to be there, or do we know?
I don't know that. I just know that the parents are. Brian didn't put it on Twitter. That's how I know.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, I only go with him. He's like, he's in Boise. He's like, it's hot and I'm from Florida. And so he's already out there. Like, I was like, man, they're not messing around. They got him out there. And then they're going to allow somebody to go in and take pictures, like still pictures. So they're going to have like the live will be set up like regularly. And then like through their web portal. And then they're going to have somebody, I think from the AP, the Associated Press, they're the ones that they picked because they're the one that put the FOIA in first. And so they're going to be able to take still photography, like still shots, but I guess they're going to put them in a certain spot. Like, and so I don't know what they're going to get a picture of. If it's going to be like facing Brian, facing the judge, like where are they going to be standing? I don't know.
I hope
Thanks,
he
Jenna.
stands up. He better stand up.
Yeah,
At least tomorrow.
He better stand up and he better say, I'm guilty. Like
Right.
and he better say of Madison Mogan, Kayla Gonzalez, Ethan Chapin, you know, like Xana Kernodle, and then the burglary charge. I want to hear that too.
Yep. I do
I just
too.
want, and you know, I want to hear because that's what he's supposed to do. Like, you know, change his plea. Hey, Earth, how are you? So I think that that's I don't know. I don't know if we'll hear anything else after that
Probably not.
because they're probably going to want to sit down with him, which they probably have. I'm assuming the last couple of days, but they might want to know more stuff. Like, I don't know what they know. Yeah, I mean, what kind? Like, are they going to ask about previous crimes? Did you do anything before this?
See, and I wonder about that too, because he just looks so weird. I just, for him to do this the first time,
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong, but, and
maybe
could
this
be
was his first
thing.
time, and he thought he was getting away from everything because he was away from home or something. He thought nobody knows me out here; they'll never get me. That's the only thing I can't. I mean, he was a criminology student. I went to school for criminal justice. They teach you things like you don't know how to be a criminal. Like they don't teach you how to be a criminal, but like you learn blood spatter, you learn DNA, you learn, you know, how it's, you know, how it's left at a crime scene, or you know how you can leave it just being there and working, you know, and wearing, you know, what protective gear to wear. And it's just crazy that I think that's why he didn't leave a lot of evidence at the same time.
Oh, I agree.
Like,
I think if that's put in the
because he
wrong
didn't know.
hands, somebody
Mhm.
can use it in a very bad way. And I've also wondered if you know, the delivery driver person, like her coming out, I've wondered
Yeah.
if that had anything to kind of push this along too, you know?
Yeah. I was thinking that too. I was
I,
wondering.
I don't know. But let's listen to Nancy. I'll
Okay.
mute.
Okay. Let me pull her
I'll
up here.
mute.
Let me see. Oh, actually, I have her on YouTube. Okay.
Sorry, Nara's running around. So if you hear a thing, it's him setting off the
Oh, it's
alarm.
okay. Let me know if you want me to unmute it or anything. Look at her eyes. She's her face.
She's mad. Nancy
I
is
get her on.
mad.
I get her on the worst still shots ever. I do. I tell her all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry, Nancy. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Nancy.
Sorry, Nancy. All right, I'm going to play it. Everybody, if you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button, and we're going to listen to what Nancy has to say about this whole ordeal. And she's got her whole crew with her.
Devil.
Oh, let's go back.
Breaking news tonight. A deal with the devil. Brian Kohberger gets a plea deal. What does it mean? No death penalty. What did the families of the victims learn? everything contained in a letter. Are you kidding me? They find out about the deal with the devil by letter. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something's happened in our house. We don't know what. She's not waking up. They saw some man in their house last night.
What happened that night at the King Road address where 4 beautiful University of Idaho students were stabbed dead? Now, we will never know the audacity of taking a plea deal with the devil, Brian Koberger, without the family's consent. I've never heard anything like it.
She mad.
With me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we are learning right now. But I got to tell you, I'm crushed. I'm crushed. And I can only imagine what the victims' families are going through. You know, I thought I knew it all about grieving and mourning and suffering when my fiance was murdered shortly before our wedding. But now that I have 2 children, nothing could be worse than this being done to your child. And then you have no voice at all about a plea deal. Is this America? How has this happened? Does the prosecutor not hear the crying, the wails of the victims' families? With me, a loyal and all-star panel that has analyzed, examined, investigated this case from day one. Straight out to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Dave, I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. I feel like I've been kicked in the stomach and in the teeth at the same time. I expect shenanigans on the part of the defense. I expect that there can be one bad apple on the police force or on the investigation team, but this, for the prosecutors to go behind the victims' families' back and offer a plea deal to Brian Koberger. What happened, Dave Mack?
Well, Nancy, it looks like after the defense laid out their possible alternative suspects idea and the judge rejected it, that they reached out to the prosecution and said, get us a deal. And the prosecution, after consulting with the families briefly and getting a negative response from at least 2 of those families, still turned around and, as you said, made a deal with the devil that gave him the best possible outcome for him. And for the love, all I can think of is these families and what they're dealing with right this minute. Their hearts are broken. Their souls are crushed by a decision that just compounds the pain.
Okay, let me understand what you just said, Dave Mack. You said they. Now, I believe you and I have discussed that we use proper names, not he, she, they. Okay. Who reached out to who for a deal?
Brian Koberger's defense team reached out to Brian Thompson, the prosecutor of Latah County, and asked for a deal.
So, what does that mean to me? Every defense attorney drags up the hall at the courthouse wanting a deal, a sweet deal. And they start off with, hey, can I have straight probation? This guy's really, he's really a good guy. Yeah, that's how it always starts, right? And then they go up and they go up. So what? So what? They wanted a deal. That means nothing to me. Of course they want a deal. That's a given. They want a deal. I mean, so the defense asked for a deal. And so what? The state just bent over a barrel and said, go to it?
They said, take the death penalty off the table and we're in. And that is apparently what has happened. The guy was staring 4 murders, death penalty, firing squad. We've done shows about the possible ways of him being taken out if convicted. And after everything we've seen, it looks like at the finish line here, getting ready to go to trial, and they say, take the death penalty off the table and we'll sign off on it. And that is apparently what happened. I say apparently because I wasn't there or involved with any of the discussions. I can only go on what has actually transpired in the last 24 hours.
Everyone, let's take a listen to a little bit of what we know happened in the hours surrounding the murders of 4 Idaho students. 4 students dead. And now I got to give this guy 3 hots and a cot for the rest of his life while he has the opportunity to make book and movie deals, have online girlfriends. Are you kidding? Listen.
Tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, this is.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we gotta go check. But we have to.
Joining me, longtime friend and colleague, Cold Case Investigative Research Institute founder and host of a new hit podcast, Zone 7, Cheryl McCollum, joining me. I've never heard anything like it in a case of this magnitude or any case at all, to completely disregard what the victims' families want because you're afraid to go to trial. Really? Because that's what other reason could there be to do this to the families of the victims? How could, I mean, if you're not there to help the crime victims, why are you there? Why don't you go get a job in a law firm and sit in the library and research all day? You know, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you can't do battle, get off the battlefield. I'm stunned, Cheryl.
She mad.
She is
Nancy,
mad.
arguably a quadruple homicide is going to be one of
She is
She hot.
mad. Coming in hot. She was like, I was not ready for this. She was probably ready to go to trial, like, you know, and be there for all this. I can understand. I can understand it, Nancy. Look at Cheryl McCollum in the back of the evidence room. She's like, Nancy, let me get in the evidence room and we'll talk. Poor Cheryl.
Yeah.
Man, this is insane. But tomorrow, so what I did was after this live, it'll redirect you to the live for tomorrow. If you guys want to watch it here, you can just hit notify me and then just go out of the live. But I did redirect it. So like after this live, it'll redirect you guys over there.
Great, because I
how to
hated
do
it
that.
your live last night. I mean, I caught y'all at the very end, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I know. I literally came on I got off at the time I usually come on, like
Right, and
9:15, right on the
texted you. I
dot.
was like, "He's got a plea deal? Are you kidding me?" And you didn't
I
get my
didn't even see
message.
the messages. I know. I have like 20 messages, and they're not from anybody important. They're just from like, I own a business. I shouldn't have put my number on there, you know. They be calling me. You want a business loan? No, I don't want a business loan. You do I have to pay back?
Exactly. Is it free?
Let's see what Cheryl's got to say. Oh, Cheryl.
the most important cases of your career. How does each family not have a
Put her
victim
up
advocate
right
in contact
now.
with them?
Put her up.
How?
Cheryl McCollum, frankly, pardon my Latin, but screw their careers. This is not about anybody's career. Screw that. This is about what is right and what is wrong and representing the victims. The victims don't want this. So why is it happening?
Nancy, it's unimaginable. And that's why I'm saying this was not taken in the breath that it should have been. that you're going to send somebody an email, that there was not a call made, that there was not an in person meeting where everybody is together to understand what the offer was and whether or not it was going to be accepted or rejected as a group, as a whole. This happened to a group of people. It should be under every possible consideration that these moms and dads and siblings have a say here, period.
The infuriating letter that prosecutors send the families of the Idaho murder victims, informing them that there is a plea deal and nothing they can do about it. Okay, joining me, you know him well, Philip Dubé, high profile defense attorney out of LA. Dubé, I'm not.
I'm pretty sure, I'm like 100, okay, I'm like 99.9%. I'm gonna have to go look. I think that he is the one that liked me and my Nancy Grace cardboard cutout picture on Twitter the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I remember being Philip Dubé was his name, and I was thinking in my head, is this the guy with the flowers? That because he has like, I always just he has such a flat affect.
Yeah.
He just makes me laugh, and I'm like, I think that was him. The power of Twitter, it's weird over there.
Oh,
Like,
Twitter's
who will like your stuff? You know what I mean? I'm like, I
Twitter's
think that's. I'm gonna go over there and look while she's
Arguing
while
with
she's
you
yelling.
right now about
Do
the
it.
state versus the defense, the evidence. I'm talking to you about common courtesy, right? You cannot enter a plea deal without your client, the defendant, agreeing, can you?
No, of course not. It's his right to the plea. It's his right to the trial that he's giving up, and it must be voluntary. But what a lot of people don't know is that the law does not require the concurrence of victims or victim.
Just call us best friends. Yeah, it was him, Philip
Oh my
Dubé.
He talks
And I'm
like a
gonna have
funeral
to-
director.
Say like two of my posts. One of them says they got an extra week. I said the date is now the 18th instead of the 11th. That's look, that's him.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's him.
You got a fan.
I got a fan. Nancy, put me on your show.
Yeah,
Pick me, Nancy. Pick me.
Next of kin
Bless.
in settlement negotiations or the outcomes of plea deals. They're to be looped in, advised as to what's happening, but they are not a party to the negotiations or the ultimate plea agreement. And as alienating as it might sound, it is simply not required. I think the only recourse that voters have right now is the ballot
Hey,
box.
you know what, Dubé? You're right. There's nowhere in the law that says you have to coordinate your plea deal with the victim's family. Yeah, there's no law saying that. There's no common law, which is case law, stating that. It's neither statutory in the code, in the written letter of the law, or in the common law, which is case law. But in a murder case, I'm asking you a yes no question, Dubé. You enter a plea in any felony, name it. I don't care what it is, any felony. Isn't it true, Dubé, that you must have the consent, the agreement, the cooperation of your criminal defendant? That is a yes no, Dubé.
Yes.
So, what that means
Who
is
knows better?
while a
He's
criminal
like, yes.
defendant set to plead guilty, who is guilty of murder, of any felony, it could be car theft, they must agree and cooperate. Not so for the violent crime victim's family. It doesn't matter what they think. Have you ever, Chris McDonough, in your life heard anything like the stunt, the double deal, the backstab that has gone on in this case with the victims' families, all opposed to this deal? Would you even consider it?
No. And in fact, you always want to have the cooperation of the family as you enter back into that courtroom. And to add, salt into the wound, how about restitution for the family? I know what I've seen these families so many times. What are they thinking today, right, Nancy? How much did my child cost? Is that the question the prosecution's asking? And that's part of the deal. It's just a bad situation all around.
When, if ever, was the last time you
Oh,
checked your
no.
home's
Oh, no, Nancy.
title?
Oh, Nancy, what are you doing to me here with the what is I've never seen her do one of these.
Nancy's doing an advertisement.
She's doing an ad read in the
My
middle
goodness.
of our episode.
Nancy, what
I
are you
pay
doing?
good money for YouTube Premium.
Come on, girl. Come on, Nancy. What you doing?
I know, I've got to get her back in her other clothes. There we go.
There we go. She's
One of
back
these
in her
days,
purple.
One of these days, I have faith that I'll do an ad read, and you guys will all make fun of me for it now. Look at her eyes.
Oh, she's mad, but she's also hurt. She's hurt.
She is hurt. Like, she really cares about kids. Like,
She
and
does.
she considers them kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, their age, they were so young, but I consider them kids.
They're someone's
20,
kids.
21.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitive work on
Let me go back.
Code
There we go.
Nancy.
I'll code Nancy.
To renowned author Howard Bloom joining me, the author of the definitive work on this case, When the Night Comes Falling, a requiem for the Idaho student murders. Howard, I'm in shock. I couldn't believe it when I heard there is a deal and the families disagree. Now, Howard, I wouldn't have liked it or agreed with it, even if the families had gone along with this, but I would bow to their decision because, of course, I defer to them. I can't believe the state has done this. I'm stunned. And I very rarely go against the state because I believe prosecutors generally have reasons for what they do that we may not understand. Very often I question, well, why this count and not that count? Why that strategy? Why did you say that? But I know that they know ins and outs of the case that the public doesn't know, and they may very well have their reasons for what they do, but I don't see a reason for this.
I mean, the state's behavior was at best cavalier and at worst, I agree with you, reprehensible. But what I think is interesting is why the defense at this point decide to make a deal. And what I'm hearing is about families too. Early on, Kohberger had been approached by his attorneys about making a deal, and his mother was against it, dead set against it. She wanted to come to trial. Now that the trial was approaching, it looked like Kohberger's parents were going to have to go on the stand. This was told to him. His mother would have to talk about the telephone call she got at 6 a.m. Idaho time, 9 a.m. in Pennsylvania that went on for about an hour just after the murders.
That was to his dad.
And she would have to say what was going on there. Did she have any suspicions? His father was going to have to talk about the cross-country trip they took and what was discussed during that trip. And to protect his family, when this was presented to Kohberger, Kohberger finally was convinced by his lawyers that maybe he should make a deal. That's what I've been hearing.
Howard Bloom, do you think
I can sit with his glass.
about that family?
Oh, no.
That they don't
They were
wanna
better
take a
off.
stand?
Yeah.
So I don't care that Kohberger's family doesn't want to take the stand. Do not
Right.
care.
I agree.
They still have their son.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they he brought it in. He's bringing in the autism stuff. So they're
Right.
going to have to say, did you take your kid to the doctor? And then this car accident thing, I still want to hear about that. He said he thinks he has injuries from a car accident or something. And I'm like, oh no, you're not going to pull that one.
No.
I don't pull that one. Look,
but if 3 out of the 4 family had decided like, no, we're not doing this, would that have changed anything? Or is it because it's half and half? Like, I don't understand all that. You know,
I think they went, I think they were going to do it without the families even consenting at all. Yeah. Like,
that's wrong.
Because
That's
it
so
seems
wrong.
it seems like most of the family members, like even like Ben was on the fence kind of, I felt like with him, like the way he was talking, it was like, it was almost like, why wouldn't like Kohberger want the death penalty? I don't know. The way he worded things was weird. I was like, does he want him to go to the death penalty or is he want? So I wasn't for sure on him, but like, I don't know what, Maddie's mom thinks because they're not together, or what her step parents think, or, we know what Kaylee's family
Xana's.
thinks. We haven't heard from Xana's mom, but we did hear
Right.
from her aunt. We haven't heard from her dad. He's been pretty
Right.
quiet. I would like to hear from them. I
I
know
was just
Xana's mom in the
curious.
beginning was like against the death penalty and stuff like that. So she may be okay with it. I
Yeah.
would say she's probably okay with that. And then I don't know. I just think that if your case, if this is such a big case, there should have never been even a plea put on the table.
Right.
If
And
you're going to go for
why
the
did
death
they email
penalty,
them? Why did they
yeah,
email them?
yeah, like they were afraid to go near
That is
them
like,
or something. You
that's
know what I mean?
cruel.
Like, yeah, like we're just going to email them and then hide over here. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, didn't even have the decency for a phone call,
Right.
a Zoom.
Something for
I mean, they
them.
were
I mean,
doing
this is a
Zooms every
huge.
Friday.
Yep.
Man,
I don't understand it. That's the part that
I
really
don't
gets
either.
me. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
They
Go
can
ahead.
visit him. He can write books. He can write letters. He can do FaceTime. He will be in their lives forever, whether they want him to be or not. I'm talking about what this has done to the victim's family. Remember them?
Hey,
Ethan,
you're raising a
Maddie,
non sequitur. The question is,
Kelly.
how did this deal come about? How are they finally able to make a deal? I think the families of the victims are going to be victims forever. It's a tragedy. It's horrible. How did this come around that a deal was made? What did the prosecution see that they were willing to make this deal? Was it just about saving money? Are they that cynical for the state? Did they actually think they could lose this case? What was going on here? I think those are interesting questions too.
They've got DNA. They've got the defendant's DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, at the crime scene on the sheath of the murder weapon underneath a victim. And they're pleading what they don't want the bother of going to trial. All along, I have been listening to them in court. I've been watching everything they do. They seem like they were in it wholeheartedly, but now at the 11th hour, basically on the eve of trial, they take a plea that infuriates, that destroys the victims' families. Why? I cannot think of a single reason why. You know what? Let's have a little refresher. Joining us, Dr. Kendall Crowns, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth. Never a lack of business there. He is the esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine, and he is a star of podcast Mayhem in the Morgue. Dr. Kendall Crowns, could you explain how these 4 young students with their lives before them at college, like, you know what I'm going through right now with the twins trying to get in college? They're entering their senior year of high school right now. Which one is the best? Which one would help them? Which one would be better for each one of them? Which one is a safe campus? And when you get them there, you're like, oh, thank you, Lord in heaven. They're going to have a good life. This is all I can do to ensure them that they'll be educated and they'll be able to make their way in the world. They're not going to be digging a ditch, for Pete's sake, hurting their back, breaking their limbs. And they're stabbed dead in their beds. Now, evidence that one of the girls tried to run for her life and was stabbed on the stairwell. What happened physically to these victims, Dr. Kendall Crowns?
So each of the victims has multiple stab wounds about their body. And the problem with stab wounds is one stab wound isn't necessarily going to incapacitate you right away. So there will be kind of a running fight. The individuals will try and fight back. They may grab the knife in a last-ditch attempt to stop the stabbing, but they received multiple stab wounds each. And that means each one of those stab wounds created pain and suffering that ultimately resulted in their death. And the one that got up and ran, that meant she was pursued through the hallway with the fear of this individual coming after her, and then finally getting up on her and then finishing her off by stabbing her again multiple times. So every one of them suffered quite a bit because stabbing cases are usually quite horrific and have a lot of violence associated with them.
Dr. Kendall Crowns, You really gave me the airbrushed version of that. A lot of pain. Yeah, I know there's a lot of pain. They're stabbed dead. They're practically somnambulant, half asleep, half awake. They can't breathe. Their lungs fill up with blood. There's stab wounds on their legs. All of this somehow deriving from Koberger's bizarre fetishes about raping women that are drugged, passed out, or asleep. What was their deaths? What were their deaths like?
So their deaths would be basically they're losing blood over a period of time. They've got the multiple stab wounds, they're bleeding internally, their chest cavities are filling up with blood. If the lungs are involved, which I'm sure there were several of them that had the lungs involved, they're coughing up blood, re-swallowing it as they're slowly slipping into unconsciousness. In
Can I say
individuals where
something,
the
Tanya?
chest cavity is compromised.
I just want to
Yes.
say, like, as
Yeah.
a nurse,
Yeah.
it, I've been in ICU forever, and
I've collapsed a lung.
yeah, and it sucks.
Oh, it's horrible.
One blessing I've always hoped for these kids is that where he did stab them, but
Hmm.
it wasn't maybe in the first place that he got them at. They did, but I was hoping that like they did go into shock because that happens
Yeah.
quickly, especially if
Yeah.
he's somewhere, and then you don't feel pain because you're in shock. You know what I mean? You're in
Hmm.
you're just like in another planet basically,
Yeah.
and that's what I've always hoped for them.
Yeah. I could see that.
Maybe I was
I could see that
off.
happening because I just, with my lung collapsing, I went into shock. Like, I don't remember like a lot of it. I remember it happening because
Hmm.
I was in the hospital when it happened. Um, but when I think of that, I think of not being able to breathe, and that
That's horrible.
breaks my heart. That breaks my heart for them because I know what that feel like. I personally can feel that. Like, and it was only one, and
Uh-huh.
what I mean, it was internal. My broken bone had done it, had
Right.
punctured it. So it was like it wasn't, like from my accident. But man, I just not being able to breathe. I hate that feeling of not being
Well,
able to
part
breathe.
of me is like, okay, if both of if their lungs are both filling up and they're not, I mean, they're not there. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
I
And
think
I,
he probably struck him somewhere like the throat first. I would think. Like, maybe he had a plan to, like, stab him in a certain spot to
yep,
where it would be easier for them
yeah.
to, like, just go unconscious.
Or even like if you hit a main artery, you're going to bleed. I mean, you may not see the
Mhm.
blood coming out, but you're going to be bleeding internally and you're going to be
Yeah,
not cognitive at all.
and I think that happened in this case a lot with a lot
And
of
I
the victims.
hope
I think it was, like, internal,
that's what I was hoping, though.
and I
I
think
mean,
that, I think that, like, that's why the girls didn't see things,
right.
like, right away, and they, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think, and that's why I think it was too. It's like,
Well,
oh,
that was my hope because
yeah.
I don't want to think of them suffering. But anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to say
Okay.
that
Oh,
because
no,
it
you're fine.
makes me feel better to think that like if their lungs were filling up, then they're not feeling much. I mean, they're
Yeah.
kind of like just takes away that what happened, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it still sucks. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's okay.
It'll fill up with blood and it'll make it hard to breathe. And essentially, you're drowning in your own blood at that moment.
Dr. Kimmel Crowns, you're absolutely correct. And I hope that when you are teaching all of those medical students at the Burnett School of Medicine, that you explain to them what crime victims live through at the time of their death. And it's not all clinical. Lives were snuffed out that night. And for what? To fulfill Brian Koberger's weird fantasies. How do we know about them? Because they were found on a search engine, raping women asleep, passed out, drugged, incapacitated.
Wonder if there was more searches that were even worse than that. that they would have found. Maybe he didn't want his mommy to hear these things.
Tell me now.
I mean, like that could put a
Probably.
damper. I mean, because you don't care what you do to most people, but you don't want to like disappoint mom normally, like, I don't know.
No, I
Normally-
agree with that.
So he might be like, don't listen to that part, mom. I did the rest of it, but I didn't do that part.
Joseph
I didn't do
Scott
the
Morgan,
searches.
Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon.
This is really
and star
low.
of the
Why?
hit series Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, everything that Dr. Kendall Crowns said is true and more. What happened that night, Joe Scott?
This individual gained access to this house, Nancy. I truly believe in my heart of hearts, and no one will ever convince me otherwise, that he laid in wait. He had observed this house. He looked for points of entry. And then for whatever reason, at that particular time, immediately after Xana had collected that food order, he decided to make entry. And he was purposed to do what he did, ascending, I believe, to that top floor first, went in and attacked those two girls in that room. He attacked one to the point where she was deceased at the door and was blocking the ability for the other young lady to egress out of that room. So he's got them essentially trapped in there. And he's moving back and forth between them, perhaps, wielding this knife. And this knife, for folks that haven't been around a K-bar, is very robust. I mean, it is a killing knife. As a matter of fact, developed by the Marine Corps. Nancy, they actually had a field manual that taught combat tactics in CQB, close quarter combat, with this knife. And this is the weapon of choice here, allegedly, that he wielded against both of them. One of the newest turns in this whole thing, back to Xana, is that, we were told wrongly by the coroner, I think 2 days afterwards, she gave a press conference or spoke to a reporter where she said that they all appeared to be asleep in their bed. No, this was a dynamic situation. Something drew her upstairs. And if now we are to believe what happened, Xana was attacked on that staircase. And of course, we know that her boyfriend, Ethan, downstairs was equally attacked. We had heard a report earlier that not only may he have been stabbed, but also his throat had been slashed, an incised wound, which adds a completely different level to all of this. The brutality of this, you can't take the measure of it. You can in the morgue, obviously, but when you contextualize these bodies at the scene and you see the blood deposition and the struggle, maybe broken things, knocked over furniture, you get the full force of this. And you know what, Nancy? I'm so disappointed because I don't know if family will ever truly hear about this. I don't know that we'll ever know truly what happened that night in that environment unless he's compelled to allocute.
And I would just say
join
that,
us.
why do they sell that on Amazon?
What was it?
I said, why do they sell that stuff on Amazon?
Oh,
Honestly.
I didn't see what it was. Whatever they sell on Amazon.
They K-bar knife. Why would you sell
why
that?
did they sell it? I don't know. I mean, I've seen one in person now, and they're huge. Like
I
they're. We went into it's actually on my channel. We went into a knife shop, and we went to Vincent's hometown, and they have a mall there that's like deserted. But it used to be like such a really cool mall. It even had like the Back to the Future car there at one point, because I think they like filmed the movie there in that spot or something. Like, I don't know, they did something with a movie there. And we went in to check out the mall, and there's like no stores, like deserted mall. And there's like this huge knife emporium. Like, it's like huge. I'm like, oh, if you need a knife, here you go. So I was like, I'm going to record us. So I like recorded it, and we went in there and we like saw the K-bar, and the sheath compared to the knife is huge. Like the knife is big, but the sheath, I'm like, how did you leave that there? Like, you must have really not been thinking, because that thing's big. Like it's pretty big anyway. So, yeah, but I'll keep playing Nancy, but yeah,
Yeah,
oh
go
man.
ahead.
So I'll read out the statement that they put out, Brian Koberger's family put out on through Brian Enton, it looks like. I'll read it after we're done with this.
Our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all of our content where we, in our own way, seek justice.
Come on, Bethany, we gotta go check. But we have to. She's not so. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122 King Road.
Emergency then and now, as the victims' families reeling over a backdoor deal done without their consent, where Brian Koberger pleads guilty and escapes any possibility of the death penalty. Look, people are divided. Death penalty, no death penalty. But it should at least go to a jury. The victims' families should at least know it went to a jury. Then, win or lose, at least the state did everything it could possibly do. This as nightmarish scenarios play out about what Idaho killer Brian Koberger will now do since he has been spared the death penalty. Straight out to renowned psychologist specializing in forensic psychology, Dr. John Delatorre. Nothing will preclude him. You know, right now, of course, Dr. Delatorre, he, the devil, is gnashing his teeth and twitching his tail, rubbing his hands together in glee, because tonight a deal with the devil has been made. A plea deal with Brian Koberger. It tastes like dirt in my mouth right now. Dirt. I never thought the state would do this. I thought remote possibility they might lose, but they would have gone down fighting, sweaty, dirty, bloody, bruised, but fighting. That's what it means to be a trial lawyer. If you're not up for it, then get out of the ring. Throw in the towel. Nothing will prohibit Brian Koberger from lounging in his private cell, writing his online girlfriends, writing his memoirs, making money off his art. I almost feel like I'm going to be sick. Explain nightmarish scenarios spinning out in my mind about how he will be coddled. He will be treated like a hero behind bars.
I'm already sick, Nancy. This was done in
I
the
don't think so,
shadows,
Nancy.
in the night. I mean,
This is sneaky. This coward went in under the cover of darkness into somebody's home where they didn't do anything to anybody. No drugs, none of that. No prostitution, no lesbian lovers with the professor. None of that is true.
Nope.
None of it. Like, I mean, it's just crazy to me. Like, none of that's happening.
And I can't think of that prosecuting attorney. It's his last case.
Bill?
I can't think of his name. Yeah, Bill.
It probably is. He's probably ready to get the heck out of Dodge.
Well, no, you said this is his last case, and this is
Yeah.
how you're gonna why wouldn't you go down fighting more?
You would think.
feel like we're
That's what I
missing
thought.
something. We're missing something.
I mean, he has been really like chill in court. You know, like kind of just sits back in his chair, like doesn't say a lot, doesn't do a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, did he know this was going to happen? I mean, hell if I know, but I can't wait to hear what everyone else has been saying. I haven't listened to a lot of the other, like the channels that think Brian's innocent. I'm kind of like, I'm wondering how they're playing this out.
I wouldn't listen to those. But I have listened to people that are like against him too, and they're just like, well, people should just be happy. He's got the death penalty. He'll never be out of jail. I'm like,
I want to know everything that happened. I want to know what
Right.
you know, what happened that evening.
Right.
Like, I have questions. And I'm sure the victims' families do too. And if they don't have them right now, they're going to have them
Yeah.
at some
You won't
point.
have
They're going to,
closure. You won't have
yeah.
closure unless you
And this
know.
isn't closure.
No, it's
This is
not. It's just like
fast.
something that's saying that we're going to shut you up. This is what we're doing. We're moving
Yeah.
on, and we're going
Yeah.
to give Brian Kohlberger the benefit, and
Yeah.
he's going to be able to pick and choose what he wants.
Yep.
And it's just gross. I mean,
It is.
it's so sickening. I feel
Like,
so bad for the families.
especially after they like tore down the house and stuff. Like, now I feel really bad for them, for like them tearing that house down, and the families didn't want that to happen, and then this, and it's like, come on now. They didn't tell him, like, they told him like the day before they were going to arrest him too, and they knew like weeks in advance, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like they've been really put through the ringer, so it's sad.
Mm.
What do you got to say, sir? Let's see.
For what reason? I mean, all they got was the death
For what?
penalty off the table. That's the only thing that this plea deal has done. So then why do it at all? If you were going to do it, you should have done it at the very, very, very beginning of all of this.
I
But
agree with
instead,
that.
now it seems the prosecution is either too sheepish or too cheap to actually want to engage in this trial. And that is the second offense, right? This is the secondary victimization of this entire family. The idea that they would be so, perturbed by seeing all the gruesome photos of the crime scene or whatever, that negates their wanting justice, right? Everybody has their own definition of justice, but this family deserved their day in trial to speak for the voices of the victims that have been gone way too soon at the hands of this individual who just hated them. And now they don't even get that. Now everything is kind of just, we're all just going to kind of move on, and no one's going to speak for these 4 victims anymore. And I think that is the significant offense that these people are going to be experiencing moving forward, that they never got their voices to be heard.
Cheryl McCollum, I hate thinking back on my fiance's murder. I don't like it. I try not to do it. When I go speak or in certain scenarios, I know I'm going to be asked, and I'm prepared. I'm steeled. But when I think back, I know the prosecutors did all they could. I know that, and I knew nothing. I had never even been in a courtroom until I went and took that witness stand. But I know they did all they could, and that is what I promised to every victim I ever represented. I might lose, but you can know I will do everything I can do for you and your loved one that you lost. I will do it all within the bounds of ethics. I will do it all. Now, Kohlberger, will be immortalized. I mean, you know what? Immortalized like Bundy. We're still talking about Ted Bundy and how brilliant he was. He was a psychopathic killer perv. That's what he was. And now Kohlberger will wear the crown.
What a disgusting twist that this person just destroyed these 4 beautiful children's lives, but saved his own. And Nancy, one of my most vivid memories of you.
Didn't even think of that poetic, his own little poetic justice, huh? I didn't save your life, but I'm going to make sure I save my own life.
Is we had a horrible homicide case, and I'm at your apartment. You have the whole case file laid out, spread out all over creation. You literally prayed for the police, prayed for the detectives, prayed for the judge, the witnesses, and then you prayed for the family and the victims. And again, this sense of you and I, in our careers, we have literally stood between a victim and a killer. We have taken that role that we not only will fight for you, I'll stand right here and be in danger myself as you have and face that monster. But Nancy, as you have said so many times, if you dance with the devil, he will lead. And trust me, Brian Kohlberger has not done this for any reason but a self-serving one.
What's wrong?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
You know, there's the old phrase, there ain't no justice, and that is how I feel tonight. There ain't no justice. At least for Pete's sake, take it to a jury, let them decide. But the family instead gets this letter, quote, "We cannot fathom the toll this case has taken on your family." Really? Then why did you do a deal behind their backs? They told you they didn't want this, but you did it anyway. Brian Koberger now escapes the death penalty
Read it, Nancy.
in a deal with the devil, and that devil would be Brian Koberger. To Philip Dubé joining me,
Read the letter,
veteran
Nancy.
trial lawyer out of LA. What many witnesses and victims want in a courtroom are answers. We'll never have that because you cannot force the defendant to elocute, speak, and explain in court. You may be able to keep them from taking an Alfred plea, which means I'll take my punishment, but I'm never going to say I did it. You can withhold a plea deal if all they'll plea is by Alfred. Oh, HELLNO. You will admit you did it in front of the victims, but you cannot force a defendant to allocute, speak, explain.
Depends on the terms of the plea deal. Absolutely, you can. You can
I'm
absolutely
going to agree with
insist
you,
as a
Philip.
prosecutor that he take to the microphone and explain step by step everything that he did on the night of the homicides. He can explain what motivated him, how he obtained the deadly weapon, how he lied in wait, and how he then later disposed of the weapon, and how he then later tried to reorder a sheath, and how he freaked out when he found out that DNA was found on that sheath. It
Like
can all
BTK.
come in through an allocution. There is no prohibition against it. And frankly, I don't think
Put him
that
up,
this
please.
is a bolt
But
from the
if the
blue.
defendant insists he will not allocute,
Then
he
there's no
cannot
deal.
be forced to.
Then
Exactly.
there's no
Like,
deal.
let's just say a witness gets a subpoena. The witness comes into court. If the witness refuses to testify, unless they've got a Fifth Amendment right of some sort or some privilege, they can be forced to testify or they can be sent to jail until they and give them time to think about it. If the defendant doesn't want to allocute, he may lose a deal, but he cannot be forced to allocute. He cannot be forced to explain to anybody anything. And where this leaves me straight out to Dr. John De La Torre is the victims never knowing what happened. I know what happened when Keith was murdered. It's been all twisted up in the media, but I know what happened. Keith left a construction site. He was a geology student. He left a construction site on a summer job to go get everybody else soft drinks because it was a remote site. And when he
No.
pulled back in, he was gunned down. He was driving the company truck in the boss's truck, and a disgruntled employee came up and opened fire on the truck, and it killed him. He was shot 5 times in the face, the neck, the back, and the head. That's what happened. I know that. There was a trial. They will never have that peace, De La Torre. They will never, such peace as it is, they'll never have that.
No, and we're not going to talk about closure. And, you know, all different kinds of experts can all talk about incels and all different kinds of nonsense. But what the family wants is what's actual and factual. They don't want closure so much as they want the information. They want to know the answer why. Why did you do this? Why did you do this then? Why did you choose my family? Why did you choose to do this thing and hurt so many people? The question of why is what lingers in so many victims and victims' families' heads, that unless the person comes out and says it, you're never really going to know what the truth is. And, you know, all experts and everybody else can have all of their opinions, but that's all that it is. It's just an opinion. This person will go and stay silent and then write his book, and then he'll do what he says, but you'll never be able to trust it because it was never in a court of law.
And that part disgusts me.
Yeah. But that part's the truth. At least, you know, if he writes his little book or whatever, he's not allowed to, he won't be able to get proceeds from it.
Can they make it where he can't write a book?
Probably, I would say.
I mean,
I mean, but he could probably like get it out somehow, like if he wanted to, like mail little bits of it, or I don't know how he would do it. But
From that weird
I know that
professor he had.
there's a son of Sam Law. And to where like it's not called that though in Idaho, it's a different name, but it's pretty much the same thing where like you can't like collect monies off of anything that, any book deals or anything like that.
Mhm.
So he won't be able to, give that to his parents or anything. Now, as parents, they could do that little peacock deal I heard that was floating around for $1 million. I heard that they floated it to Asa Ellerup, which is Rex Heuermann's wife or ex-wife, and
God.
Brian
No.
Koberger's parents at the same time. She said, "Yeah, I'll take that $1 million." And they, I
Wow.
guess, said no. So Dr. Ramsland actually went on News Nation tonight. I couldn't get it to pull up on my thing though, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to play it. But I'm seeing if I was just checking to see if it was on the News Nation app yet, but it's not. So Dr. Ramsland is coming forward to talk about Brian. I guess she was going to be a witness at the trial, and so since she's like, there's not going to be a trial, she's just opening it up the floodgates, I guess. So I'm like, okay, then.
See,
We got, like,
I'm sorry. This is
that's
wrong.
okay, you're fine. It is
Wrong.
It's crazy. We have like 5 more minutes on this. Xana looks so young in this picture
I know.
with like the little freckles on her nose.
She's so beautiful. They're all
She's very-
beautiful.
They are all very beautiful. There's something about Xana's eyes that I don't know. It's something about her eyes though that get me.
Yeah.
She has like very kind eyes, and I don't know, just something about her eyes. They're all, wonderful girls, but it was, I don't know, something about Xana's eyes always got me. It's probably the color of them. They're pretty.
Emerges. Oh, there you go. Brian Koberger dressed like Ted Bundy. Mr. Button Down Oxford shirt. I've got a black hoodie and I don't take freaky selfies in it. Joining me in all-star panel too, Joseph Scott Morgan, Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State University, and star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, I'm stunned. I'm reeling. I feel numb. When I heard this, I felt like I got kicked in the stomach. At first, I thought it was a joke.
I felt the same way. I literally, I think I got like 5 texts simultaneously, including from my mother. I did not see this coming on any level. But if you think you're angry right now, Nancy, just indulge me for a second here. This group of people that he claimed that he was part of relative to the world of criminology, where he spent all of his time as an undergraduate, master's degree level student, studying under people. And now he's gone out to Washington State. And, you remember the brochure or the tool that he created in order to question people with, trying to dig into their lives and in prison, relative to thinking about crimes. Nancy, he's now officially going to be part of that world. And I bet you my next paycheck that upon arrival at the state penitentiary, he's going to have mail. He's going to have mail from the same group of people that he claimed that he was going to be a part of. And they're going to have questionnaires for him. People are going to want to come and interview him. And they're going to do it under the guise of academic research. They're going to do it from the perspective that they can write books, that they're going to study, they're going to present at conferences and all of that stuff that they do. And it rings so hollow now when I think about these families who have gone through this meat grinder for these past 2 years. And he is going to be sitting in that cell, and he's going to be, I'm telling you, Nancy, it's not an enjoyable thing to be in general pop, but I'm telling you, he, just like BTK, when he allocated, you could see in his eyes that he enjoyed that, recalling every single detail. Now, this guy's going to be given a forum. And I can tell you there are 4 voices that are silenced permanently. And to even maybe a greater extent, these families' voices have been silenced as well, because obviously their requests were falling on deaf ears.
That's sad.
Cheryl McCollum and I have been through a lot together. We came up together in the system. Inner city Atlanta, one of the murder capitals of the world. Cheryl McCollum, founder, director, Cold Case Research Institute, and star of a hit podcast, Zone 7. Cheryl,
Think it through.
Hmm.
You have a boy and a girl. I have a boy and a girl. Okay? Follow this through to its logical conclusion. One of them, and I hate to do this to you, one of them is murdered brutally in their sleep. You never get answers. And then spin it out, Cheryl. Spin it out. As I like to say, follow it through to its logical conclusion. And then you find out. You just happen to be looking online and bam, notice, alert. The killer is going to be zoomed in to a big conference where he's a star.
Yep.
And he's going to be explaining
Mm-hmm.
the inner workings of the mind of a killer.
Oh gosh, just like me wanted to.
He's the
Yeah.
star. He's
He's
not
gonna
getting
love
payment.
this.
His payment is
It's like he couldn't do it. He couldn't do the TA because he just couldn't do that. So he was never going to be a teacher or professor. So I
Nope.
guess this was what he was like. Okay, I'm beginning to think. Okay, I'm beginning to think a little differently now. Maybe it wasn't even an infatuation with one of the victims. Maybe it was just those 4 he just picked. I mean, I'm beginning to wonder at this point.
Yeah.
Like my head's spinning. Yesterday when I found out through Brandy Wine. She wrote me on X and was like, Tanya, did they give Brian Koberger a plea? And I'm like, I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, no way, prosecutor would not do that. I was
Right.
thinking she heard something crazy. And so then I Googled it right away. I was like, I better Google that, like, just to be sure. And I Googled it and I was like, oh my God. I was like, TMZ's reporting that he's taking a plea. So then I'm like, it's just TMZ. And then I got on X
Right.
and it was everywhere. And I was like, girl, oh my gosh. I was like, I'll be on in a minute.
I know.
I was like,
Hey,
this is
in the
insanity.
pines. I'm seeing pines. Saying, hey, Itchy, hey, in the pines. No, I agree. I mean, I was sick. I mean, I was just like, surely this is not.
Yeah, like I was
not
laying in
really.
bed, like over myself. Like I was like laying over my hand and Vincent was like, what's going on? What's happening? What? A plea? And I'm like, I need to sit here for a minute.
Yeah.
He's like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not really. I was like, I'm not. I said, I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I just need to sit here for a minute. Cause for the first time in 2.5 years, I'm not wondering about Brian Koberger. Now that's going to be weird when that happens. When I wake up one day, and it's sad to say, when I wake up and I'm like up for a while and I don't think, wonder what Brian Koberger's up to. Because literally I covered this case so much, on this
Yeah.
channel. It's like,
You've
that's
done
what
good work. You've done good work.
I'm like, and I can
I
say on
just,
this channel, we haven't like went after people and just we haven't went like, we didn't go into conspiracy land too much. We had our questions and our ups and our
facts.
downs, but it was
Yes.
like I mean, I'm happy with the case. I'm not happy with the trial part. Not happy with
No.
that, but so far I'm happy with everything that's been put out and everything. I just hope that we get more.
But look
I
at
really do.
Lori Vallow.
Yeah. They just released
I mean,
that one interview with her yesterday too.
she's crazy.
Oh, she's so crazy.
But people are going to want to interview him and they're going to do it. And it's just going to feed into his ego because he's a
Yeah.
sick, twisted, you know what?
And
I mean,
I wonder who will get the interview.
I don't know.
Like, I wonder if Keno Wentworth will get it or if it'll be like, I can see it being a woman. I mean, I can
Yeah.
see it being a woman.
Oh, absolutely.
So we can try to like smooth talk
Not gonna
his,
be Brian
way,
Enton.
or it won't be Brian Enton. Yeah, no,
Nope.
Maybe I'll go in and Brian can put an earpiece in and he can give me the questions.
You could be
No,
a
that would
good
be,
interviewer for him.
I
You
would
would.
probably interview him. I don't think he would scare me, like sitting across from him. I think I'd be really mad if I sat
Oh,
across from him.
you might get
Like, I don't think
arrested.
I would feel like I wouldn't feel any empathy. And I feel empathy for a lot of people. And he's just not one of them.
No.
Especially now that he's saying we're not going to be allegedly after tomorrow. There's no allegedly on this channel with him.
Right.
We are going
Yeah.
and I'm going to go through the timeline. Like I told Vince, I was like, I'm going to go through the PSA and I'm going to read it out just like he did the crime because he did. But I want to know a couple things, Koberger. One thing I want to know is where the murder weapon is, why you did it. And I had one more. Oh, and where did you enter through? Did you enter through that back slider or was it through that front door? That's all I need to know. I do need to know about the door. I need to know about that. I don't need to know the autopsies and stuff. I don't need to see the pictures. I don't need to see anything like that. No graphic stuff. I think we all learned our lesson in Gannon Stouck's case, but that was a little boy that was brutally killed by his evil stepmother.
Oh gosh.
Somebody a creator got the autopsy pictures and put them behind a paywall.
Oh God.
Yeah, and charged people $3 to see these pictures of this kid. I mean,
Oh,
that's the case I don't talk about at all. Like, I don't talk about Letitia, the stepmom. I'm surprised I actually said her name. I hate her that much. Like, it was one of those cases we saw all the way through trial, and it was like, okay, you're out of my life forever. But a lot of people still do content on her, and they do like her jail calls and stuff. And it's entertaining if you're like, if that was the case, like, I don't know, she just got under my skin so much to where I can't even look at her without like wanting to scream. So it's just different for me. But there are still creators that cover it. I think Jen Liu covers it pretty well. She does a good job.
Well, I mean, there are people that will find it entertaining to do whatever after this, but this is sick and beyond.
Yeah. And I think because like on this channel, we were covering Crystal Rogers' case, and then we kind of stopped because it was like they had the one trial and for the first guy, and then Brooks Hauker, the father of her son, they had his trial and starting now. And so I was like, oh, because I have like a really good timeline and we can like deep dive. And it's a mother of 5. She went missing. She's never been found. And her boyfriend and fiance, or at the time, is on trial for her murder. And he had an actual interview with Nancy Grace and tried to lie to Nancy. And Nancy was like, not having it. Yes, Betsy Ross, Melissa Jade does. Yes, she does really good Letitia style coverage. And so does Alex Erickson too.
Oh, okay.
Jen Liu popped in my head today because I was in her chat, but I had a headache, so I couldn't really chat.
Girlfriend that
I was
he's
just
made
listening in.
behind
I was
bars
like,
is pen
I'm
pal.
here.
He's the star. People applaud for his speech. I mean, why don't we all just get down, bow down to the devil? Because that is what is happening, because nobody had the backbone to take this thing to trial and try the damn case, win or lose.
Nancy, they said, damn.
I don't get it. Can you? Because this is going to happen, right? I mean, I've had to look at Alex Murdaugh's shirtless selfies for Pete's sake. He has a tablet behind.
She was going to bring up his case. Did you see his trial?
Yes.
It was beautiful when Nancy Grace showed up and she was like this the whole time, just staring at him like the whole time. I was like, if looks could kill, guys. I was like, it's getting started now. We followed Nancy because she covered it twice a day. She did an afternoon live and then she did like an evening live.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm like, this is perfect for us. We would watch the trial and then we would catch up on like the other stuff with her. I think it was like,
this will happen.
He's crazy.
I don't know how it's
I
gonna
don't need
happen.
no nipples.
Just the same
selfie.
way.
Nope.
Didi gets a cell phone behind bars he's not supposed to have. Like that. It's gonna happen, Cheryl.
Nancy's like, Cheryl.
She's right. Cheryl. Cheryl.
Oh man, Nancy
She's-
really makes you. She makes me laugh because she's pretty funny. That's why I had to get that cardboard cutout. The dog's sitting beside her right now too. I'm so surprised.
It's a sign.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
Well, no, Nancy used to scare.
I know, and the dog's right there. So
The dog just laying right beside her, like she don't even care. Her eyes are rolled in the back of her
I
head.
think the dog feels bad for Nancy.
She does. Well, the other dog moved. She's like, I'm out of here. You're pulling that thing out.
I ain't dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that.
I'm just not doing it. So I guess Brian Koberger's parents are going to be there tomorrow. There was an article that came out that was saying stuff about like his family. But the only thing I've seen just on Brian Enton was just they did release a statement, and it says I think they're stealing this from the Chapin family because they put a statement out similar to this, but it says statement from the Koberger family. Brian Enton was probably like, hey, remember me? I was the guy on the other side of the glass that was blown out. when your door was all duct taped and I snuck into the neighborhood that one night, your son got arrested? Like literally, that's the last time he's probably talked to them. Statement from the Kohlberger family. It says, in light of recent developments, the Kohlbergers are asking members of the media for privacy, respect, and responsible judgment during this time. Responsible judgment? We will continue to allow the legal process to unfold with respect to all parties and will not release any comments or take any questions. We ask that you respect our wishes during a difficult time for all those affected. Well, you raised a freaking murderer.
You know
That's all I
your
gotta say.
screen's blank, right?
I'm just, yeah, I'm gonna remove it. I'm like,
No,
I'm
I just
so
wanted to
mad
make
right
sure
now.
that you
Oh,
knew.
yeah, no, I was just gonna read that to you, but yeah, oh man.
Okay.
Like, I
I just
feel
didn't
so
know if
bad.
you
I
knew.
feel bad for his parents, but at the same time, it's like, did you see this coming? Not like this,
No,
but
I
did you
think they
see?
look. I think
You
his
know that
parents.
show? It's going to be on the ID show. That what's it called? Evil Lives Here, where they're like, there's been signs, and it goes signs, and then it'll show like the kid when he's like younger, like skinning animals or something, or
Right.
like, and it shows the progression, and the parents are. I always feel bad for them because they do try, but they always seem like they're trying like their damnedest, like with therapy and like just trying to help the kid, and then he just
Right.
grows up to be this monster, and it's just like they maybe they enabled a little or, not, I'm not talking about Kohlberg's family, but maybe these families that, maybe that was one of their things they enabled or something
But I mean, the
or, a
sister
little.
she was already saying stuff about him.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that she was saying stuff, and they both work in the mental health field too now. So I
Oh,
mean,
jeez.
they must be pretty smart. I mean, and
Well, I
if
mean,
they're
I
like,
don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
I mean, I
she
hate
did
to
say something
say
about the
that,
car.
but
See,
I
like,
don't
and
know.
that's another thing. I mean, they said something about the car, I guess, like him cleaning the car. And one of the sisters, I guess, was at Christmas dinner saying, like, do you think Brian could have done this? He lives like, 10 miles away. Like,
But
I
why
don't,
would they think that? I've
how would
never
they really
understood that.
know that Brian lives 10 miles away from Moscow? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's not something I would, like, if I just moved to Washington, I wouldn't be like, yeah, I live 10 minutes from Moscow, Idaho. Like, you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, I would be like, I live 10 minutes from the Jack in the Box or something. I don't know. Like, that just wouldn't, like, putting me there wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't think to do that because he's in Pullman, going to school there.
I
But I
think
mean,
something that really would make me, I mean, I just want to know the factor of what made them change. Like, what
yeah.
twisted this all around? Am I talking over you? I'm sorry if I am,
No,
because
no, you're
I
not.
may be behind. Um, that's what I want to know. Is
Yeah.
what is it that made this all happen? And is it the
Mhm.
YouTube person? Not YouTube, the DoorDash person? Is it this person? I mean, what
Yeah.
happened that made y'all do this? But even then, just to treat that family that way,
Yeah.
that was, I mean, that's just beyond. That's what that
Mm,
that is what has Nancy pissed.
yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, there are so many ways they could have went around this.
Yeah.
Like all they had to do was talk to them. He does have a juvenile record, I think. In the Pines was asking, because he did steal his sister's cell phone, and I heard his dad called the cops on him when he did that. So I think they took him to jail, and like then his dad went and probably posted his bail or something like that. Or maybe the cops came and it was one of those we'll talk to him deals. And then like, you know what I mean? Like a scare him, like a scare tactic. Like, I don't know. I could see, I'm from a small town and they live in a small town. I could see my mom calling the local sheriff, like, hey, my daughter just did something stupid. Can you come yell at her for a minute? And him being like, yeah, I'll be right over. Like just living
Right.
that small town feel. So I don't know. It could have. It could
But
have.
what else did he steal from her? Because it was something else about drugs, right?
I think that was the only thing, the cell phone that I know of,
Oh,
I
okay.
think. But
I
something
don't
else
know.
may have come out since. But I don't think it was with the sister though.
Oh, it may not have been. I remember something that he was doing against her and like stole from her, and I think she always thought he was weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Oh,
he
he
was
is
off that
weird.
era. And Ashley actually brought this up yesterday when we were on the phone. I think it was when we were on the phone. I noticed it, but I didn't notice how much. But his last hearing he was in, he was moving and grooving in that hearing. Like normally he's just sitting straight ahead, like looking straight ahead, like just kind of dumbfounded, like just kind of a dumb look on his face. Just, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
just, nothing there, like just nothing. Well, last hearing, he was moving his head around. I noticed like Anne was Anne was writing something down, and I saw him like kind of like look over, like he wanted to see what she was writing. I don't think he saw it, but he was kind of like, and then he like looked. I was like, oh, he was moving around a lot more in that hearing. I was like, I wonder if he was getting antsy, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I think she probably instructed him, like, hey, we've said you have autism, and whatever her definition of that is, okay,
Yeah.
you got to sit there and
Yeah, just
act
sit there
like
and look
you're
straight
just
ahead.
here and just look straight ahead, like you
Yeah.
can't do anything,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. She even tried to say that he was like where he could barely take care of himself.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, "Are you kidding me? He's going for his PhD."
No.
I was like, for him to have autism and do that, that's incredible because when you have autism, you need structure and you need stability and you just need like a plan. Like like if you have, unless it's like, I mean, unless you're like nonverbal, I'm talking about like,
Right.
on the other end of the spectrum, you're like, I have it, but I have such a small amount of it. I'm not like all, I don't even know what, and they'd say I'm autistic, but I consider it more like autism, ADHD, all smashed into one.
But we all have a little bit of that. And
Yeah,
I
and I
hate
think
it
that
when they use that as a
yeah, and I'm like, I
excuse.
just like things in a certain order, and particularly in a certain area, like in a certain way, and it's more like, well, I have a little bit of the OCD too.
Right.
God just blessed me with all those, He's like, oh, we're gonna
Well,
give her all three, and we're gonna see how this works. And I was like, okay, let's do it. No, I just need to be structured. I just have to write everything down. I have so many lists, it's like ungodly. I'm like, I need to make a list. You'll hear me on every live. I'll be like, let me write that down. Like, I have the computer monitors all around me I can type into, but I will not look at that. But I'll look at a notebook. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. I'm very particular, I guess, too.
no, you're just what you are. It's
I
all
am, yeah.
beautiful. And I thank you for letting me come up here tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
No
I mean,
problem.
after
Thanks for
doing
saying
all
that.
this deep diving and cramming for this, I'm just
I
like,
know.
I
Well,
have felt
I
sad.
was kind of excited about like them extending it to like August 18th because I was like, okay, that's cool because it'll be like the middle of August. I was like, half the trial, like, or for like the first couple of weeks, I'll sit down to the pool. I was planning it all out myself. Like, I have wireless mics that are like really good. I got everything I would need to go down to the pool. And I was like, we'll have like till August 18th, enjoy our summer, and then come back and we'll do Kohlberger trial. And now it's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it's just so crazy. I mean, that he doesn't even, if I guess he doesn't have to say what he did. I mean, I think that it should be written in there. I'm pretty sure that I'm hoping that Bill Thompson at least took part in that part of it and wrote out like, you have to give us something, like, if we're going to do this deal. Because who just does a deal for funsies and doesn't let the families know?
Well, we haven't heard from that
just doesn't.
side either. And that's what's so
Yeah.
weird. It's like, no, he should not be able to write a book. And whatever that woman's name is, I can't think of her name, his ex professor, she shouldn't be able to
Oh,
write a book.
yeah.
None of them. Like,
Yeah.
no profit off of this at all. You're
Yeah.
going to sit in jail. Sure, you can have your laptop and all the, not laptop, but iPad and all the other
Yeah.
stuff that people will give you. That's great because that's going to happen anyway. It's
Yeah.
just gross.
Yeah.
I feel bad for these
And
families.
it'll
I
fade.
really,
It'll fade over time, and then he'll
Ugh.
just be the loser that he is sitting in that prison cell by himself or with his lady friend, man friend, whatever he is, and that's what his life's going to be. Like I would have probably wanted to be on the death penalty. I'm an introvert, but I'm an extrovert at the same time. I'm weird. I don't know how to explain it. I'm an introvert extrovert. But I'm more into myself. Do you know what I mean? Like more than I am like out. So I feel like I wouldn't want to be by myself 23 hours a day, but maybe like 12 of those would be like,
Here's a
see, that's
question
why
though.
I would never commit a crime because I'd be over there plea bargaining that. Like, can I do like half in one side and half in the other? Can you move me around a little? They'd be like, no,
But
wait, not.
let me ask you something though. Like, if the family, if he was just like put away tomorrow, I mean, like wiped away from the planet, are they going to feel better? Like, is it going to
No.
make them really truly feel better? Because I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I've been bouncing this around my head for a day now.
Yeah.
They're not ever going to feel better. But
Yeah.
it's the way, it's not maybe what they've done, but it's the way they went about it. I
Yeah.
would never want to get an email
Yeah.
about this. I would never want that to
Yeah.
be the way you're going to approach me. That it's a slap in the face and
I
it
mean,
feeds the fire.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah. I couldn't imagine. Like, and they didn't change anything over like in the system or anything. So it all looks like they're going on trial on the 18th still. Like, I guess
Mm-mm.
they won't change that till tomorrow, but it's just weird, you know? And it's weird that like you said, they got an email. And in the
Yeah.
email, I was reading, there are parts of it out. It says, "This resolution is our sincere attempt to seek justice for your family," the letter said.
Mm.
What? So you couldn't get justice with your evidence? Like, what? What?
Right.
This agreement ensures that the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will not be able to put you and the other families through the uncertainty of decades of post-conviction appeals. Your viewpoints weighed heavily in our decision-making process, and we hope that you may come to appreciate why we believe this resolution is in the best interest of justice.
Hmm.
Now, couldn't they just like have taken the death penalty off the table and still went on a trial?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
But then
like
that's
why.
the worst thing. What if they went through the entire trial and then he got off somehow?
Yeah.
That'd be sicker.
Yeah, maybe they did weigh that in.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
maybe
don't
there
know.
but there's 600,000 people in Boise. Like, there have to be able to find 12 to 20 people, you know, that are non-biased. You would
Yeah.
think now not, I would say.
Well, I mean, Lori Vallow, think about it.
Yeah.
There were so many people that did not know anything about her. And all the trials she's been through, they would go through one case of it, and they had
Mhm.
no idea until they got out of that case that she actually
Yeah.
murdered her other children.
Yeah.
I mean, they had no idea that that was even going on.
I know. She's got so many bodies on her.
Oh,
I
well,
remember when
she
all
was,
that happened and it was crazy. Oh, that was right before the pandemic.
yeah.
And it was
She
like
was,
her and her
she's like talking
ukulele
about
playing.
Noah's Ark and stuff.
Oh,
Brian it, and
geez.
that made me die laughing. I was like, "Girl, you are so far gone."
Oh,
You're.
she's gone.
I like watching her son's channel to listen
Mhm.
to him talk about her,
Yeah.
and it's so sad to me. Like he's lived through so much
He's
with
like the
her.
last one left.
I know, and he
Like,
always
really.
wonders why he is. He's like, I don't know why she didn't get rid of me.
Oh.
Isn't that nuts?
He was too old, I bet. Well, not too old, 'cause I mean,
No, no.
maybe I think Tylee was, like, not going for what her mom was wanting her to go for. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? Personally, I think she was like, "Uh-uh." Like, she was just, like, one of those little girls that you wanted to raise, you know, like, that had a voice and that was gonna protect her brother, and I just feel like she was more of the mom than Lori was. I feel that about her. I think
I
she was
I do too. I don't think she was a good mother. I didn't mean to
mhm.
derail that, but
Oh,
when
that's
I was
okay.
hearing that last night, I was like, what is she talking about? And then
Yeah,
listening to her son being like, see, this is what she does. And I
yeah.
mean, he's been amazing through all that. So hopefully, whatever happens through all this,
Mhm.
the families will find their voice and they'll figure out a way to, find their
And
healing,
I think
honestly.
it like with it being then like an end, like it's almost like an ending, you know what I mean? And maybe they're scared of that too.
Yeah.
Because like you in a way it's almost it's not
Adrenaline.
it's not an ending for Brian Koberger,
Yeah.
but usually around this time, and I hate to say it, but usually it transitions from the victims to the perpetrator.
Yeah.
Like your content will go from like if let's say I was doing the Gannon Stout case again. I was, my title would be a Gannon Stout. But then it seemed like when it got to Letitia's trial, it was like Letitia. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think that could be could be in the back of their head too. Like,
Well, they feel
are they going to
victimized again.
are they going to forget about our kids? And we won't. Like we're not going to on this channel. I mean, we say their names. You know what I mean? Like I think this is the one case that the victims' names are going to be just as prevalent as the killer's name. Like they're going to be known. Everyone's going to know the victims just as much as they know Brian Koberger. And you don't really hear that a lot in cases, it seems like, like.
Well, and like the Gonzalez family, like they're attacking them over getting money. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, but they thought they were going to be going to this.
Yeah.
So they're going to put them under a microscope like that. The Koberger people that are so
Yeah.
pro him. Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
I think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But you got to look at Karen Reed. Who would have thought she would
Yeah.
have gotten off?
Who would
I
have
mean,
thought it?
this
Who
may
would
be a
have thought?
blessing for the families. It may be. It truly may be. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
That's
know.
true.
But thank you
I
for
can
letting me
imagine.
up.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, girl.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon. I think I scheduled it for like 12:45 if you're not working. Or if
I'm
you are,
off
just put us in
tomorrow.
your, I'm about to say if you're working, just put us in your ear. I
I'll
went
be
to
there.
All
No,
righty. We'll see you there.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
I just love her. She's so sweet. Isn't she the sweetest? Look, there's Nancy again. She scares me sometimes when she's back there like that. I hope that the judge, I hope tomorrow that there's an overwhelming response to the courthouse. I really do. I wish I could be there. I really do wish I could be there. Why has it got to be so far? Like, why has Ohio got to be so far away? Like, that's so far. But I hope that the families, they get, after the victims impact statements and stuff, I hope that they're able to like start healing. Cause, I think that all of the families need healing, all of them, even including Brian Kohlberger's. I couldn't imagine being his mother and his father right now. They're in their 70s, I believe. I believe both of them. His mom might be 67, 69, like something like that. But they're close to being in their 70s. They're getting older. This kind of stress on somebody that's healthy and, young is, huge, but somebody that's older, like, his parents, that can really take a toll on them. This could take a toll on them. So, it's just sad. But I did put out some videos. I was going to play them tonight, but we'll play them tomorrow before the hearing. I put out a video from Steve and Shannon Gray with Ashley Banfield. And then I put out another video. What was the other? Oh, Ben Mogan came and talked. I have a longer one from him. It's just a couple, like a minute longer. We'll play that one tomorrow too. Maybe before the hearings, we'll play those. And then I have some stuff we'll go over. We'll talk about Brian's family. We'll see what they're about. I told you that Brian Enton said they want no flash photography and no questions, please. Yeah. Is JLR going to be there tomorrow? Hey, Diane, I would love it if JLR's going to be there tomorrow. Is he driving out there? Because I can see him doing that. Yeah, Hip's voicemail was full. Yeah. But I think that they have another thing that you can go to. Let me see. Your message to the Department of Justice. Okay, I want to make sure I give you the right one. Okay, this is like a really long link. Okay, I posted it on X. Oh, wait, here we go. It was just like really long for a second, so it's not long anymore. If you go to that site, that's the DOJ, and you can go there and you can write the let me pull it up really quick so I can tell you. It's the Department of Justice. So, and there's a form there. It just gives you you can put your name, your email, general, like the topic. Trying to see. Maybe other? Because you could please specify at the top of your message. Like, yeah. So yeah, then you can type in like attention Brian Kohlberger plea deal. That's what I would put. And that's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put something. I'm going to write them. That way they have everybody writing them. And I hope that the Kohlberger family makes it over to Idaho safely. I hope that all the victims' families make it down there safely. I hope nothing happens at court tomorrow. That's like, everybody just keep your hands to yourself. It's going to be very high tension. It's going to be so high tension. They've never been in a room together. Ooh, can you imagine? Like, oh man, I would just, that gives me the willies. Just, I'm feeling for his parents. Like, they haven't seen their son in over 2 years. And oh my God, I feel so bad for them. I could not handle the stress of that kind of stuff. I've been through way too much to be going through that too. Like, talking about Kohlberger, like my kid being a murderer. I couldn't imagine that. Did the link go in the chat? I'll say I'll put it back in there again. But that's for the Department of Justice. Yeah, right, Dion. Yeah. She's earned so much money through this. Oh, he had until today to cancel his flight to Idaho. Wow. I would have been so mad if I had to eat that ticket up. That's like $1,000. I would have been mad. Yes. Right, baby girl. Everybody lock your doors, lock your windows, lock your balcony doors, myself included. I'm going to do that when I get off here. I wish he was, man. He always yells the best stuff. Why'd you do it, Murda? Like, why'd you do it, Buster? That makes me sad. I'd even almost pay for his ticket just for him to go out there and yell something. I think he yelled something at Kohlberger's arraignment. He did. Why'd you do it, Kohlberger? I don't know. He always says that. That's like his famous line. Oh, man. Bubba. Yeah, Pete. Oh, my. That's what I call my dog Mimi now because of Alec Murdaugh and his damn paw crap. Did you hear your name? Oh, whoa, are you okay? Are you awake? Here you are. Hello. You're the biggest baby I've ever seen. She is like the biggest dog ever. This chair's huge. I don't know if you guys really can see the whole chair, but that's a 90-pound dog right there. The other one's right behind me. Oh, she has her back paws up to her nose, like she's Papa. Oh, he might get another trial. We might have to watch all that crap again. But it will not. There will never be a Perry Mason moment in a courtroom like when Alec Murdaugh found out that there was a Snapchat video of him talking. And then there was an eyewitness to corroborate it. I was like, oh, wow. Man, bus, Mac. Yeah. Your dog's 15 and a half. Oh, you had an old little dog. My girl's 10, I think. And I think she, 2007, like 8 and 10. Oh, Ladybug, me too. They're such good girls. They really are. They're good girls when they want to be. Well, we're gonna go bother their dad. They're like sleeping so good. I don't even want to move them. I feel bad for them. Kinda. Oh, you had a Mia too, Felicia. I think that large sized dogs, I think that they have a less life. Isn't it less or is it more? I think it's less. Mine are showing my brown dog's showing her age. Okay, my dog's got it back the other day, and I swear This dog doesn't even roll around in the grass. The gray one does though, but the brown one came back and I swear she's 2 shades lighter. Like, I'm not kidding you. I was like, did you bleach our dog? She looks so light. And she doesn't like roll around in dirt or anything. So like she wasn't that dirty. But she must have like hold oil or something. I was like, oh my gosh. But she has like white on her nose. It used to be black and now it's all white. It's less. That's what I thought. I always thought like maybe I'll get a small dog. I'll never have a small dog. I know I won't. I know now that I've had a Weimaraner, I probably will. I probably will never not have one. As much as like they're clingy. Like I've never had a dog that has to lay on me. Like she lays on the pillows around Vincent, like does this little weird thing around him. And then she comes to me and she has to be like smacked up against me. Like she'll push her paws out on him and push her back onto me. And so I'm like falling off the bed. Like I'm just like holding on for dear life because she's 80 pounds and she's just, and then my brown boxer pit, she's usually like, I'm usually like my butt's hiked up in the air because she's like so close. It's just, it's a scene. It's a scene. I'll have to take a picture sometime. Delberto. That's so funny. That's a cute name. I bet he is your shadow. He's so little. He's just thankful for you. Those are the best dogs. They are. The ones that you find or you adopt. They really are. I mean, Araya like cannot live life without me. Like this dog, if she wasn't with me, I don't know what. She wouldn't have that great of a life because I'm always making sure she's doing okay. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Thanks for talking to me after the live for a little bit. I'll be back on tomorrow at 12. Is it 12:45? Yeah, 12:45. For Brian Koberger's hearing. It is where did I put all those documents? It's at I was going to tell you the time, but I don't know where I put it. Oh, it's right here. So the order is for 11 a.m. tomorrow, and they're 2 hours behind us. So it'll be 1 o'clock our time. So I'll come on about 12:45, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. So after this live, if you stay on here after I hit the end button, I usually end it out pretty quickly, so you don't have to sit here and listen to the music too much. But I'll end it, and then it'll redirect you to the live for tomorrow. If you guys want to come to the live to the live tomorrow, sorry, then just go over there, hit the notify me button, and then just exit out of the chat. If you're feeling extra gracious, leave a comment in the comment section. That'll get us out into the algorithm, and hit the like button. You could do all that stuff while you're over there if you wanted to. But thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate you guys. Good night. Just think Brian Koberger is he's never going to get out of jail. I guess that's what we can be thankful for. But I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out.